welcome back.
Hello.
We're finally podcasting in the daylight for the first time in a while.
Gig has the day off.
Yeah, I've been working a lot lately, trying to save money and pay for school and be an adult. I say that every time. I'm like, I'm an adult. I'm complaining.
We've changed positions. I used to always complain about being an adult.
Oh, yeah. Now I'm just tired all the time.
We've changed. That used to be me.
Yeah. I literally wrote, in my journal today to myself, saying, talking to myself, I talked to myself in my journal about how, I'm a perfectionist, but it's like a fault, but I'm also kind of proud of that fault. But right now I need to work hard, but cut myself some slack, because if I keep working too hard, I'm going to burn out, and I really don't want to burn out right now.
Well, the thing is, there's nothing wrong with working hard, but you need to know when to stop.
Yeah, and what did I say? I said, I need to allow myself some downtime.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And speaking of downtime, let's play a game.
We played this game early on when we first started, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Because we still did green screen.
Did we?
We made the background birds.
Right.
If you haven't seen that one, you should probably go watch that one first. But
yeah.
I'll just give a quick explanation. I won't explain as much as last time, just because I don't really remember what I said. But basically one person says a statement and then says, change my mind. And then the other person has to change their mind. So an example is, if I'm like, the earth is flat, change my mind, then Gig has to convince me that the earth is not flat. But if I say, the earth is not flat, change my mind, then Gig would have to convince me that the earth is flat. Right?
Yeah.
It's a little confusing. There was a couple times last time when, you were like, birds are real, change my mind. And I was like, well, duh, birds are real. And you're like, no, you have to change my mind. And I was like, no! I don't want to.
Well, and when I try and approach this game, I try to think of things that are kind of more lighthearted, because I get so negative.
Oh,
and I get so this is a bad thing in life, change my mind. But it's yeah, that is kind of a bad thing, you know? I can't think of an argument against it. I should think of something where there is an argument against it, but I don't like the argument. But anyways.
I went on a website that had a whole bunch of controversial topics for people to write about in school. That's what
Essays
it was for.
And stuff.
Yeah. But I just used some of those, and then I came up with some on my own too. I can't remember what I have, to be honest.
Yeah.
But we have 5 each.
Yeah, I think I have 5. I have 7, but I think I'm going to get rid of a couple of them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I was having a lot of trouble, so I wrote down extra ones that just came to mind, because I was worried that some of them might not be, good,
well,
you know?
We could do 7. I could find some.
Well, I mean, let's just play, and then we'll figure it out, okay? As we go.
Okay, that's fine.
So can I start?
Sure.
Communism doesn't sound too bad. Change my mind.
Communism doesn't sound too bad. Change my mind. Communism bad. I don't know anything about communism.
That's okay. Let's skip this one. This is one of the ones I was thinking about getting rid of.
Well, no, in China, people, they have factories where, they have kids working. I don't know if that has anything to do with communism, but it's bad.
I think that's, a result of communism.
I'm so good at this. They also have, Muslim people as slaves. I don't know. They have, concentration camps, basically, of, Muslim people. And then, I don't know. It's, super weird. And anytime there's, an article about it, suddenly there's, nothing about it anymore. You know what I mean?
I'm not sure whether those are the side effects of communism, like of a communism government that has kind of like almost like a totalitarian leadership, or if that's not what originally the system of communism is supposed to be, because I think the idea, at least behind like kind of the what's it called? Not like before Russia was Russia, but at least that mindset was like all for one, you know?
Yeah, well, it was
Like-
supposed to be like everything was fair and everything was distributed evenly so that everybody had kind of like the same life, right?
Yeah, everyone had the same opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never mind.
What?
I don't think, like personally, I don't think communism would really work in North America.
No, it would not.
But it's funny because you hear a lot of people saying things that almost line up with communist values, right? Like, I mean, a lot of people in North America, or in the U.S., are pushing for taxing the rich more, right? To kind of bring them down to a more equal level, because
It's not even about bringing them down to a more equal level. It's
Yeah.
that taxes keep going up, but billionaires keep getting more and more tax breaks.
yeah,
Meanwhile, everybody else is paying more taxes, so
Yeah.
it's not really fair.
yeah. Anyways, let's move on. That was a weird one that I had.
Nuclear power is not a viable energy source for the future.
Okay. Nuclear power could very well be a viable energy source for the future, because the nuclear power that we know of today is decades old technology. The current nuclear power technology is super efficient, has almost zero waste, and is extremely safe. All the nuclear reactors that we know of that we're really operating now are like 30 or 40 years old. And that technology is outdated and hasn't been updated. But that's the problem with the nuclear power, is you start a nuclear power plant, you kind of have to commit to it for a long time. But at the same time, it would be really cool to either upgrade current power plants to be more like current technology, or shut them down and build new ones that are like, again, more advanced, more at the current level of our technology that we have. And also exploring nuclear power, but alternative versions of it, because what we know as the traditional version of nuclear power does have some downsides, but there are versions on a lateral plane that are kind of similar, but use a slightly different method or a slightly different fuel source that have more pros to it than the traditional method we're used to. I'm not like super well versed in in nuclear power, but that's like what I've heard. I don't have any sources to back my argument up.
You changed my mind, that's for sure.
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
I mean, I didn't really have a stance on it. I don't really know anything about nuclear power, so.
But the thing is, most of us don't hear about what current nuclear power technology is at, right? We don't really hear about that. And we also, everyone hears about all the negatives and all the bad things that's
You hear
happened.
the word nuclear,
Yeah.
and you're like,
You think of nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
You think of
Chernobyl.
Chernobyl, and then the one in Japan. I can't remember where it happened. Fukushima.
Fukushima, there we go.
You think
I
of
was
Fukushima. And the thing is, in Fukushima, I think they've actually done a pretty good job of cleaning it up, because people are moving back in.
Yeah, they've let people move back in.
Yeah.
There used to be, what did they say? There used to be 18,000 people living there, and now there's 700 people who've moved back.
Mm-hmm. So it's pretty interesting. Again, we don't
There's
really
still radiation,
know.
though.
There's still radiation, and we don't really know the long-term effects of people living in an environment with that level of radiation.
Yeah.
But
Because it's low, but it makes those things beep.
and also
know
the
what
same
to
thing
call
with Chernobyl. There are people who actually never really left,
Yeah, that's true.
and we don't really know. It's not really talked about.
I read a thing that said in Japan, retirees cleaned up the radiation, because they said, well, if it takes 20 years to develop cancer, then like
I'll be dead
people
before I develop the
who- yeah.
cancer. Yeah.
people who are, old and gonna die anyways.
Yeah.
May as well be the ones doing it.
That
I mean, I'm not saying that I made it sound like they assigned people. They were like, you're old, you clean it up. But no, like people volunteered to clean it up.
Yeah. Which brings me to a question that I can ask you.
Okay.
We should cure aging. Change my mind. Like, I think that we should pursue like a treatment for aging so people don't have to die of old age.
Okay, I've been thinking about this recently because I always feel like, I'd want to live forever, like if there was that option. But we would get so overpopulated. The earth would get so overpopulated. If people are just having kids and people aren't dying, if people are choosing not to die, and then their kids are having kids and choosing not to die, that would overpopulate the earth so fast. And especially if people could save their pets as well. Everything would just get so crazy and messed up.
Okay, I have like a rebuttal.
Okay.
So, obviously, there's some things you have to consider when you think about this possibility, right? Like, like if you cure aging, you'd also have to think about curing other diseases, like cancer and other things, right? Because those aren't necessarily always a consequence of aging. They just happen at certain stages of aging. So, let's just say, for argument's sake, that we're able to also cure those kinds of things that are related to aging. And let's also say, for argument's sake, we find solutions to overpopulation and stuff like that. It's more of like, I'm asking you the moral question of, should we give ourselves the ability to live for like as long as we choose to? Because that's my this is kind of becoming more of a discussion rather than a change my mind. That's where I am kind of drawing the line, is if we have the ability to stop people from aging, we should also change the laws on when we choose to die, because suicide's technically illegal, right? And assisted suicide is illegal.
Yeah.
So,
because you would have to choose to end your life.
Yeah, like let's say you've lived for 150 years, you still look 40, right? You'd probably be like, yeah, I've done everything I want to do in life, and I'm satisfied, and I just don't really want to do it anymore.
There's also, like, if you stop yourself from aging at, like, 12, like, that's also kind of messed up, too.
There should be a law that you can't decide, you can't choose to stop aging.
But people are going to get their hands on it illegally anyways.
Yeah, that's true. But it should be,
or people even, like, human trafficking type of thing.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, forcefully making it so that people can't age.
Yeah, that's frustrating. Like, that's changing my mind a little bit, because I want science to discover it. I want science to get to that point. I'm going to move my phone because it keeps buzzing. I want science to get to that point. Because I think it's exciting that we could make that progress.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like you have to implement all these extreme regulation.
Yeah. And we'd have to probably change we'd have to change a lot of laws. Like a lot of laws.
Yeah.
Ow, I bit my tongue. Oh. I had something else in my head.
Here's an argument, again, like, it's kind of defending it, is it's not necessarily that people would get their hands on it, because it's most likely going to end up being a complicated gene therapy, which doctors would have to administer over a period of time. So, I guess this is an argument for it and against it. It would make it a lot harder for the wrong type of people getting their hands on it and doing it illegally, or doing it in morally bad ways. But also, it would mean that if people tried to do it without, like, the proper regulation, they'd screw it up.
Yeah.
More likely to screw it up.
And then we get zombies.
We get immortal zombies.
I just want to say real quick, the reason that I want to live forever is I want to learn every language. I want to go everywhere in the world.
Yeah. The reason, like, an upside, I think, of giving people the opportunity to live forever, because I think that there is probably a percentage of people who would choose not to do it, right? They think, that's unnatural, I want to live out a natural course life, right? And I'm sure there are people who would feel, like I said earlier, that they would want to live for a certain period of time, and then when they feel satisfied, like they've lived a certain amount, right, to choose to die, pretty much.
Yeah.
But an upside of it is we lose some progress when people die. So let's say there's somebody who is a leader in political values or a social leader, right? When they die, a certain amount of their values die off, and the progress they've made has died off, right? Same thing with science and technology. Somebody who has made a ton of progress in a certain area and has helped humanity develop more, when they die, yes, their work can be carried on, but that initial, like, their values and their drive does take a toll. Like, it loses some.
But what does that have to do with...
If people can choose to live forever, essentially, or for longer periods of time, then we can make more progress as humanity, right?
I don't think so.
I think that's a possibility.
Because for every good person, there's also a bad person.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I'm
So
not saying it's
bad people
50-50,
people shouldn't be allowed to have the chance to live forever.
Okay, next one.
It's funny because we haven't really changed each other's minds.
You changed my mind.
Okay.
The nuclear power one.
And you've made me question the immortal thing a lot more.
Higher education should only be accessible to good students. Changed my mind.
Okay. Well, what if higher education is what makes someone a good student? Someone who necessarily wasn't a good student in elementary or high school gets the opportunity to go to university or college, and suddenly they learn how, not suddenly, but because of the higher education, they learn how to be a better student, and they learn how to better themselves. What about that? Huh? 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 Right? Like,
I'm not saying that this is my opinion.
no, I
It's
know,
just
but I'm all of a sudden very passionate about this. Maybe because I'm in university now. But the thing is, I chose to wait 7 years to start university. I wish I had started it earlier, because now I'm getting back into being passionate about learning, right? It was like I forgot how to be a good student. So I think it's possible to learn how to be a good student, because in high school, for example, you don't have a choice really of what you learn. So when you go to higher education, post-secondary, you get the opportunity to focus on things you are passionate about, if you have the opportunity to do that, because sometimes there are other limitations, like financial limitations and geographical limitations, why you can't learn certain things. But that aside, I think anybody should have the opportunity and access to higher education.
Nice.
Good argument, Gig.
My turn.
Yes. This kind of goes back to what we were talking about a little bit. Some people are just born evil. Change my mind. I've been thinking about this a lot.
Oh, I have to change your mind.
You have to change my mind. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Doesn't necessarily mean that's what I believe in, but...
But psychopaths.
Yes. It's hard. It's a hard argument to, it's a hard thing to argue against, because we already know that people, there are...
Okay. Psychopaths are born without, the ability to process emotions. They have no emotions.
Yes.
That does not mean they're evil.
No.
That does not mean they're going to be violent. There is a high percentage of psychopaths who are violent, but that doesn't, I think it's also about how you're raised. It's not necessarily, if you're a psychopath and you're in a family, that is abusive, or if, as a child, the person, who's a psychopath showed, this is so hard, signs of it, and it wasn't treated, with, therapy or, something like that, then, yeah, obviously it can spiral out of control. But I think like, if someone is born without emotions,
Mm-hmm.
they can be kind of taught.
They can learn.
Yeah, they can learn. I mean, they can learn either way,
Mm-hmm.
right? Evil is learned.
So you don't think it's some people aren't inherently evil regardless of what they're taught?
Yes.
Okay. I think that's like...
Well, no, I'm not saying I believe that. I mean, now I kind of do. I don't know.
No, you think some people aren't that way.
Well, no, I don't think either way. I'm just trying to change your mind.
Okay. You are changing my mind a little bit because I struggle with that. Like, it's okay. It's the whole conversation of opinion versus fact versus what's right and what's wrong, because you don't really have to worry about any of that as long as you know that other people deserve to be treated nicely.
Yeah.
Like, as long as you don't think you're allowed to hurt other people.
Well, and here's the thing. People are born with different personalities, right? It's like, so there is certain aspects that isn't taught, like, it's not taught, you know what I mean? Like, obviously
It's okay.
I can't put it into words.
It's okay.
So
I
frustrating.
understand what you mean. Like,
But, no.
Oh.
But personality traits are like, sure, someone might be born and, like, they're selfish, right?
Mm.
Like that is obviously a personality trait. But being selfish doesn't necessarily make you evil. I guess we'd have to go into what defines evil as well.
Yeah. It's a very complicated question. I was having trouble coming up with kind of just like black and white questions where there's one side and another.
Yeah.
Because I like to think of things in a very analytical way and look at every aspect, but it's exhausting because like that kind of question you can literally debate and discuss for a long time to cover almost every aspect of it. So, anyways.
It is crucial for a woman to establish a career before getting married and having kids. Changed my mind.
I don't think it's crucial for a woman to establish a career before getting married and having kids. I think that women, and anybody in particular, can learn something new and create opportunities for themselves at any point in their life, regardless of their situation, right? So if a woman has gotten married and has kids and has no career and is almost having full-time being at home taking care of the kids while the husband has a career and is the breadwinner, I think there's opportunities to learn at home. Like right now, I just started a program online, right? And there's opportunities to work from home and to communicate from home. Like the beautiful thing is with our current technology and today's world is we have the internet and we have the ability to use it in a positive way. And some people create their entire careers and lives on the internet. I mean, think about social media stars and stuff like that. She, whatever woman we're talking about, could make an Instagram page about her life, her lifestyle, and her kids and her family. And I mean, not guaranteed, but she could treat that like a business and grow it, right? Or she could be like, yo, to the father and be like, hey, you're staying home, I'm going to work. Because women are allowed to do that. Anyone's allowed to do that. Have I changed your mind?
I didn't have a stance anyways.
Yeah.
I feel like people can do whatever the heck they want.
Yeah.
I don't really care.
Yeah.
I'm trying really hard not to hit the table right now.
Regardless of like the situation, right? Because everyone's situation is different. So if we're talking about a woman who's married and has kids, she could be like, I'm not really happy here. I would like to, what would really make me happy is having a career. She could like divorce her husband, still be present for her kids.
You don't have to divorce your husband to get a career.
No, I know, but this isn't, I already said a couple of options. Here's another option. She could divorce her husband, still be present with her kids and like be in her kids' lives and support them, get a job and put herself through school.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, but what about somebody who wants to have a kid on their own? They're going to get, a sperm donor and they don't have a job.
Okay. They're coming from somewhere, so they've got to be in some sort of situation where they're being supported, unless they're homeless.
a sperm donor.
I just realized what I said. Okay, let's say they're living at home with their parents, right? Because there's always a moment before kind of thing, right? So, they would have to get a job unless they expect somebody to support them, right? School isn't, I mean, it depends on where you are, too, because school isn't free.
So then in that case, they would have to establish a career before starting a family.
Yeah. No, like, you said women are not, what was your question?
Women should establish a career before getting married or having kids.
Oh, should. So should means always, right?
Yes.
Do you mean always? So I don't think it's always the case.
Crucial.
I don't think it's always crucial to establish a career. I think there's the option later on if you wanted to do it that way. It just depends on the person's choice, the person's tastes, right?
Yeah.
Their
I'm
values.
just bugging
Yeah,
you.
I know. Okay. I like this one. Veganism is toxic. Change my mind.
How's it toxic?
I think the values of veganism, there are positives, but I think there are some negatives. This isn't necessarily what I think day to day. This isn't necessarily my base opinion on it. But I think there are some values that are way more negative and outweigh the positives.
Yeah, but you're hearing the opinions from the select few outspoken assholes in the group. 99% of vegans aren't actually like that.
Okay. I guess that's true. That does change my mind a little bit. But I guess the question or the thing could be that veganism enables toxicity in people because it's almost like a cult. Like people are trying to draw you in and guilt you for your values.
Do you think that about the keto diet or about...
No, because people on the keto diet aren't going, you're doing something wrong by eating complex carbs and whatnot, right? Like,
there might be a select few in the group.
No, they're not. They're not basing it off of moral value. That's the problem
every single person?
But there's no...
No, but how do you know?
No, but what I'm saying is keto diet isn't causing a trend of people to go on social media and outspeak their values and tell other people that their values are wrong.
But what about meat eaters?
Meat eaters aren't necessarily telling vegans that they're...
Yes, they are.
No. Let me finish.
There are literally meat eaters on the internet being like, are you thinking about the feelings of the plants before you eat them?
But meat eaters weren't saying that before vegans were telling meat eaters they were bad people for eating meat.
Yeah, but people make fun of veganism. They made fun of veganism even before vegans were like, eating meat is bad. Stop doing it.
There's difference between making fun of something and, like, putting someone down and telling them that they're wrong.
Yeah, but it goes both ways. And it's not the whole group. It's a select few from each group.
I know, but... that doesn't change my mind about that it brings out those toxic values in people. Some people. I'm not saying it's an inherent thing that causes a negative in everybody.
But anything like that, makes people feel like they're a part of this, they're above everybody else. It's not necessarily just the vegan community or whatever. Like, as I said, 99% of them just want to fucking eat their plants and go.
Okay. You're changing my mind a little bit because it is true that it depends on the person, right? But you've got to agree with me that it enables that type of person to almost, I guess maybe they were already toxic.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's what I meant to say.
Like, I like veganism and I wish I could be vegan, right? I have my own personal reasons why I'm choosing not to be vegan. But I just find that it's like there's so much, like, it's like so intense, so passionate and intense.
That's the only side you're seeing. You're not looking at the other side.
Yeah, I guess there's some people I might need to unfollow on social media. Making me realize. All right.
My turn?
Yeah.
Okay. Human testing should be illegal. Change my mind.
Human testing should be illegal?
Mm-hmm.
In, like, for everything?
Yes.
So, you don't want to know if, for example, a vitamin C pill could kill you or could cause you a rash.
It could kill a rat.
Yeah. But again, I guess this is a conversation of morals because some people in the world need, for example, supplements to live, right? They're deficient in certain things and they will live a shorter life without them, right? Without going through rigorous testing, not even on humans yet, but going through all the steps of checking to see if their product is safe to a certain extent, they need to have confirmation that the majority of people wouldn't have a negative reaction to it. Because, like, let's say you're the doctor or whatever who's creating a vitamin C tablet, for example, and they take it, and they're like, was fine for me. But it happens to be that 90% of the population, they're part of the 10%, the 90% of the population is allergic to an ingredient that they put in it. So you think that it's okay to just sell a product that is unsafe for 90% of the population?
No, when did I say that?
Well, you said human testing should be legal.
Yeah.
How would they know that 90% of the population is allergic to the ingredient if they don't test it on like a sample of people from the population?
You got me there. I don't know.
We have governing bodies in charge of those kinds of systems. There are parts of the system that are completely broken, don't get me wrong, but...
Look, I don't think human testing should be illegal.
No.
It's just for the show.
I know. I'm just continuing my argument to wrap up my point. And there are parts of it that are completely broken, but do keep in mind that most human testing, at least it's supposed to be this way in North America, is 100% consensually done.
Yeah.
Right? Animal testing, maybe that should be illegal because you can't get consent from an animal. I mean, we're going back to vegan values here. But
yeah, apparently it's vegan. No, it's not okay to eat meat because the animal can't consent. So if you have consent, then it's vegan.
Yeah, like if I chopped off like part of my finger and said, "Hey, I want you to eat this," then it would be vegan for you to eat that.
Consensual cannibalism is vegan.
Yeah.
But we are not condoning it? Is that the word?
No, we're not condoning it.
Yeah.
No, that's not okay. Cannibalism itself is still morally very questionable.
Okay, whose turn is it?
I think it's my turn. AI is the future.
Change my mind?
Change my mind. I think AI is great.
I hate AI. It scares me. It's creepy.
What's so creepy about it?
They could take over.
Yeah, but maybe they'll take over and
kill us all.
No,
yeah. Gig.
We've designed it to
enslave us.
No, we've designed it to like pamper us and basically take care of us. Like,
well, that's still messed up.
What if AI?
We don't deserve that.
What if we created AI to ecologically, ethically, and efficiently? I'm just trying to come up with another E word. Run society, produce all the products we need, and take care of the planet, and we don't have to do anything. We can like literally live
then
like Kim Kardashian every day.
We'll get fat and we'll die early.
No, because we care about how we look, right? So we have the option to. I don't know why I'm going on about this, but I was just coming up with like, what if AI enabled us to not have to worry about monetary things, like we don't have to worry about money because basically everything is free. That's impossible. Never mind. You changed my mind. I was trying to come up with an argument that would be like the utopia fantasy that could be enabled by AI, but then I realized that's kind of impossible because people are greedy.
Well, and the thing is, I don't know.
That's okay. Let's move on. Do you have any more?
Yeah, I have one more.
We'll end with this one.
Aliens are real. Change my mind.
Okay. If aliens were real, and you mean, like, intelligent aliens, right?
Gig, I just mean aliens. Just...
Okay, we would have seen life outside of our, like, local space neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like, we would have found life on Mars. We would have found, like living bacteria on Mars. We would have found...
So you think there's no other life in the whole universe just because there wasn't life on Mars?
I didn't say that's what I believe in. I'm just trying to change your mind. But I'm saying if life evolved on Earth in this situation, like right here, why isn't it closer?
Why isn't what closer?
Why isn't life elsewhere in the planet closer?
Well, then why isn't there life in the whole other... in the rest of the solar system?
Exactly.
Yeah, because it's perfect conditions. And who says there isn't perfect conditions somewhere else?
Because the perfect condition seems kind of almost imperfect. Because at the same time, on our planet, we've discovered life in conditions and environments which we would consider completely not perfect for life. We've discovered life that doesn't need oxygen or light. It doesn't need water. We've discovered life that's primarily living off of like toxic substances that we would normally consider toxic for almost any form of life. And we discovered that on Earth. So why haven't we discovered something similar on other nearby celestial bodies?
You did good.
Thank you. I tried.
You done
I
good.
believe in aliens. I think aliens are real. I think we just haven't looked close enough.
Or we know that they're there, but like the government knows, but they don't want to freak us out.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.
I'm tired.
Yeah, me too. I'm sick. I have a sore throat.
I had a shoot this morning, and it was good, but it took it out of me.
Yeah. Whew. I have to work tomorrow and the next day and the day after that. But it's okay, because, like, you know, I'm an adult.
Okay. I think
All right.
It's time.
We should wrap it up.
I'm gonna go have a bath.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, as always.
Our local charity, no, our weekly charity words. Our weekly charity.
This week.
This week's charity is I actually don't know what it is. No, like I know it. Okay, there are fires in Australia, and we would love it if you would go donate to them. I donated $5 because I'm broke, but at least it's something, and we would love it if you guys could do it too. $1, 50 cents, 25 cents, whatever you can do, you know? It makes a difference. But make sure you're giving it to the right place. We'll put a couple links down below that we know are credible, and we'll actually give the money to help Australia.
We gotta do something about it, because too many animals are dying. Too many innocent animals are dying.
Yeah, who cares about the people?
Yeah. Who cares about, like, the land? But the koalas, okay, guys? Those cute koalas. They need help.
And the kangaroos.
The roos.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.